All right, let me talk to you about pro-black consciousness movements of maybe the last 30 to 40 years, 50 years. As I was growing up, there were a lot of groups such as the Nation of Islam or the 5% Nation, the Nubian Islamic Hebrews, the Black Hebrew Israelites, which, they don't like to be called Black Hebrew Israelites or the Hebrew Israelites. There are a lot of conscious groups that are out there that deal with our history and the lack thereof as far as in the collective youth of today. A lot of the problems that stem from the reason why we, at a large alarming rate, are killing each other in the streets is because we as a people are a destroyed people. We are a people who do not understand what is going on and do not know who we are. It's just as if we have been brainwashed and completely released into the wild with totally rerouted minds that have no complete understanding of why we even exist. Things like that are the reasons why, the youth are in the situations that they are. And people will say, well, you're trying to make it into it's the white man, or the white man did it, or, you trying to rely everything back upon the fact that slavery was such traumatic on us as a people. But now, we have personal responsibility. And I understand that. I'm not trying to alleviate the person's choice in the matter to sell the drugs, the person's choice in the matter to break the laws of the land of America and then be put into jail. I understand those things. What I'm saying is that there is a overarching, larger, big, grand scheme of things, and there are puppet masters and an overarching umbrella of secret societies that has to do with controlling the demographic of the urban inner city people, masses of people. And that is very clear. It is not any type of a conspiracy. It is very much, the way that things are seen. It might be an unspoken rule in the face of everyone because everyone is tuned into the fake reality that is, hatched by the visual point of the media. But what I'm telling you is, believe it or not, black people understand this fact that we are living in some type of a beast system and that we are slaves. And then even the average American citizen classifies themselves as a slave of America, a slave to taxes, a slave to the system, a slave to, have its freedoms taken away from him. This is something that the average American citizen, regardless if you're white, if you're whatever the actual nationality of you are, white, black, Oriental, I don't care. And I'm not being politically correct because I don't even study what is to be politically correct because, who cares what's politically correct? I'm going to speak what's on my mind. I'm going to say what I want to say. I don't care, what type of I do care about the comments. Let me take that back. I don't want to be that insensitive to say that I don't care about what people say, but I'm going to say this. The comments that people may make in opposition to what I'm saying, giving me pushback, on what I'm saying, then, I really don't care. I really just do not care. And I'm going to be strong in my standpoint and steadfast in saying that this is what is going on, that there are groups that meet and meetings that are had and conversations that are hatched that have to do with keeping us as a group of people, nationality, ethnic group, demographic at bay and not stabilizing, standing on our feet economically wise and spiritually wise to be able to invoke these actual cosmic powers which relate to the real deal, true and living God that is being talked about in these churches out here that is on every corner in the black community. And we're accessing this power and they're just harnessing the energy of spirituality off of us because we're the real true spiritual people. And they know that. That's why there's a different type of celebration in our churches than there are in other churches. Now, I'm not trying to be racial with it. I'm not trying to be racist or be a bigoted type of speaking person. I'm just telling the truth. This is just what it is, and people don't want to recognize this. People don't want to say that it is like that. Now, I may be a person who has been living for over 48 years now. and I have had the experience of seeing and hearing a lot of information, of reading a lot of books, of reading a lot of information and actually mentally chewing on the ideas and concepts and ideologies and theologies and philosophies of different things throughout my days. So I have the ability to talk about various different religions or various different concepts, whether it be Islam or, what Muslims believe, the Quran, and I can speak Arabic. I can even, talk to you about different verses in the Quran and, يَدْخُلُونَ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ أَفْوَاجًا فَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ وَاسْتَغْفِرْهُ إِنَّهُ كَانَ تَوَّابًا. And even speak about the Quran, Iqra or Bismi Rabbika Khalaqal Insana Min Yan, all of this Arabic stuff that they speak in, saying Assalamu alaikum and wa alaikum salam and, making, salat and, doing all of these different things, praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is the Allah most glorified and exalted. This is what Muslims do, right? Okay. And then you've got all of these other religions out there too, so there's various different religions out there. There's various different groups. The Jehovah's Witnesses, they're the people that come around to your door, that knock on your door, that tell you, do you know about the kingdom? Or can we speak to you about Jehovah and the kingdom of Jehovah? And, have you ever heard of, what do they call Jehovah's Witnesses? I don't know their spiel because I'm not a Jehovah's Witness, never have been a Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to their theology or their ideology. But I just don't know exactly how to represent them. And I'm going to be truthful and represent myself and make a disclaimer right here saying that I don't know how to properly represent the Jehovah's Witnesses. But let me just say this. I do know one thing about the word Jehovah. The word Jehovah is, in fact, indeed a mistranslation of the name of God. Now, see, they have something that's called the Tetragrammaton, Tetragrammaton, Tetragrammaton. Now that means the sacred letters, and those sacred letters are Y, H, W, and H. And this is the name that you oftentimes will see if you're in translation and you're reading the Bible in Hebrew and you see the word Lord, you're seeing YHWH in Hebrew, or Yod Haf Wehav, or Yahwaha, which actually is pronounced Yahweh. That's how you say the name. But anyway, that's the name. That's the actual proper pronunciation of YHWH, not Yahweh. Yahweh is actually two Sumerian words put together, which means agreeable and disagreeable, or it also means the cherubim and seraphim angels. The Yah are the seraphim and the Way are the cherubim angels, what they were called in the Anunnaki ranking, when they were called Anunnaki on high, when they came from Anu, sent down here to earth. See, Anu is the name of God in ancient times. In the Sumerian time frame and chronological order of which the revelations of civilizations were being revealed on earth, the ancient Sumerians were first, and then you had like the Akkadians and then the ancient Babylonians with Nimrod. And this is how it's picked up in the early biblical chronicling of the record in Genesis chapter 1 to chapter 9. Genesis chapter 1 to chapter 9 is chronicling the ancient Sumerian tablet references. And so, I know if you don't know about all of this, you can just do research and find out all of this. These are different ancient Sumerian tablets: the Enuma Elish tablet, the Gilgamesh epics, the Atra Hasis tablet, the Great Deluge, all of this, the Tablet of Etana, the Ascension of Ishtar to the underworld. All of these are ancient Sumerian records, all right? And they're all in great detail, written in a language called cuneiform. Now, speaking to you about all of this information is, rather exhilarating to me at times, because it's all just coming out of the vault of my mind that I have stored all of this information pertaining to the ancient times and how it is tying to our actual creation and evolution into who we are today as a species of people, as human beings that live on the earth. So people will think that I am, crazy to say all of these things. You're trying to say that we came from aliens and all of this, when I'm saying that's actually what the Bible is saying, that we came from alien beings that are known as the Anunnaki, and it goes back to these ancient Sumerian tablets. And then in the Bible, it is picking up on the name of these beings known as the Elohim, and Elohim is a reference to the Elohim in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, which is Ah, La, Ha, Yah, and Ma. All these are how it's spelled in the actual, what they call it, Lahwan Kodash, which is the language, the holy language of the ancient Israelite people that, spawned all the way down from the time of Moshe or Moses or Moshe. And so this is, who they were, and this is the language that they spoke, and this is where the Bible is being revealed to connect to. So they'll say, like in the modern Hebrew, they'll say Aleph, Lam, Have, Yod, Mem. This is how you get Elohim. Aleph, E, Lam, El, Have, H, Yod, I, Mem, M. This is how you get Elohim. Elohim. And so in the Bible, when they have the four living creatures, when they're talking about the four living creatures, this is where it's referencing Elohim, because the four living creatures representations are an eagle, a lion, an ox, and a man. Okay. An eagle is a E, a lion is a L, a ox is O, and a man is H-I-M. This is how you get the word Elohim in the four living creatures. So this is what I'm showing you, is that the Elohim tie into the ancient Anunnaki, and even down to where it says in the Quran, Nahnu, that we sent you this revelation, that we were the ones that are responsible for this creation. It's talking about that in the Arabic. The Arabic says Nah. Nah means to send, right? Like they have the word Rasul, that means one that sent, an apostle, right? That's why they call Muhammad Rasulullah Muhammad, right? He was sent from Allah, and this is the Prophet Muhammad. So Rasul, or Ra, is also a part of the ancient council of these gods that are Neteru or Neteru, which this is in ancient Egypt, right? And that's what they were calling them there. But in ancient Babylon, they were calling them Anunnaki. And in ancient Sumeria or Shumu, they were calling them the Anunnaki. All right. Anunnaki with a G, or Anunnaki, or Kai with a QI, or Anunnaki. So this is, or KI. So this is how we have the names of the angels, what they were called before they were called angelos. See, angelos is where you get the modern name of what we are today calling angels. But before it was called angels, they were called Malaika in Arabic, or they were called Malakim which means kings or messengers. Or Elohim. That's another name that the angels are called, Elohim. Every time you see angels in the Bible, this is the name that they're being called. Gabriela, which is Gabriel. Zodak, or the Elohim, or El Elohim, Gabriela or Gabriel. This is what they're calling these angels. So, to explain to you who and what we are, it is explained in the book of Psalms, chapter 82 and verse 6. It says, I have said you are gods, and all of your children are the Most High. And that is explaining to you that you are of this ancient celestial species, which today they're trying to say is alien, or they're trying to say is extraterrestrial, or from some other place, or from outer space. Even if they're saying we live on a flat plane and there's an outer part to the world that we can't access because we're inside of an enclosed system called a firmament, and they're trying to say that the flat earth exists in that fashion, and that outer space is actually still on this same plane, but it's just outside of the realm in which we can access. Then I'm trying to say beings that are outside of that plane in the outer space, they are coming from that outer space into this inner space inside of the firmament of which we are calling the surface of the planet Earth. And we're believing that we're on a globe. If I'm not on a globe, then I'm just saying the flat earth model is biblical, and that is what is really, the plane of existence that I am living on, in this three-dimensional plane in my life. As I, proceed through my life, I am living actually on a flat plane that is called the flat earth, and the Bible has been explaining this the whole time. Then that is absolutely spectacular. Now, anyway, besides that, I just wanted to say that all of this information that I'm telling you is chronicled in the Bible, or all this information is chronicled in the ancient Sumerian records, or all this information that I'm telling you is chronicled in the ancient Egyptian records, or all of this information is chronicled in the writings of the ancient Native Americans of the early Americas, or all of this information is chronicled in the writings of the Moors, or all of this information is chronicled in the writings of Dr. Malachi Z. York and the Holy Tabernacle Ministries and the Nawabians, or all of this information is chronicled in the writings of the 5% Nation, or all of this information is chronicled in the writings of the Nation of Islam. All this information is chronicled in some of the stuff that the Hebrew Israelites say. So I'm just trying to get you a vast ground and vast variety of information so you can make your synopsis as to what it is that you want to, know about all that there is, about information that is out there in the world, whether it be conspiracy theories or whether it actually be some, tangible, real deal spiritual, spirituality or meditation. Is a transcendental meditation. You want to go over to the Middle East. You want to go over to Tibet. You want to sit and learn Taoism or Zen and all of that. It's like a city Zen, like a citizen. You sit in Zen, which is peace, tranquility. That's what Zen and bliss and serenity and all of that is. So you are a citizen because you're in the city and you exist in Zen, which is serenity. So anyway, that's all just words. See, it's the same as believe. Be, lie, Eve. See the word? Break it down. Be, lie, Eve. They be lying to Eve's children. We're all the descendants of Eve. See, like you read in the Bible, it says, and Eve's seed. We are Eve's seed. We are the human beings that spawned from the womb of Eve, according to the Bible. So when they say be, lie, Eve, they're trying to get you to realize that there's something other than knowing. And the thing that is opposite of knowing is a lie. And to know is to be God. And to speak anything other than God is to speak from the mouth of a man, and man lies, because God is not a man that he should lie. That's in Numbers 23 and 19. So the Bible is very clear that this is the book of law that should not depart from your mouth. And Jesus told you that in order for you to inquire and obtain on eternal life, you must keep the commandments. This is what you must do to ensure that you get, to ensure that you get eternal life, to ensure that you get paradise, to ensure that you get the kingdom. You keep the commandments. So what I mean by that is people say, well, you got to have both. You got to have you can't just keep the commandments and get to heaven. You got to have the faith of Christ. Well, this person had the faith of Christ because he had faith to go and ask Christ about what to do. So he had the faith of Christ because he had faith that the answer that Christ was going to give him was going to be the proper answer to give that he needed. And he took it. And that answer was the commandments. So he kept the commandments and had the faith of Christ, and he entered into paradise. Now go to the very end of the book of Revelations, and see, doesn't it say those that get into the city are those that keep the commandments and have the faith of Christ? Not just the faith of Christ. I'm telling you something here. It's not just about confessing Jesus. You have to still keep the commandments, because the commandments are the laws unto righteousness. You can't abandon the laws, because if you abandon the laws, you will be in sin. I know that sounds crazy, because the preachers in the church are not going to tell you this. They don't want to endorse the ancient Mosaic law, because they would then have to switch up their cultural rituals. They don't want to not have to practice Christmas. They don't want to not do Easter. They don't want to not do Valentine's Day. They don't want to not do St. Patrick's Day. They don't want to not do Halloween. They don't want to not do 4th of July. All of these different customs that are done here in America or over here in the Western Hemisphere, in the Western world, they want to do those things. They don't want to do Passover or Feast of Tabernacles or all of these other holidays. They don't want to do those things. They don't want to, keep fringes on their clothes. They don't want to, do the Passover. They don't want to do the Feast of Tabernacles. They don't want to do Hanukkah. They don't want to have a menorah in the house. They don't want to, grow out their beard if they're a man, or wear a dress if they're a woman, or, wear head wrap if they're a sister. Those type of things are our culture. There are things that we did as a people. And so now we have those things that they're lost from us. We have abandoned them because it was beat out of us at slavery. And I guess that's all for now that I'm going to share on this topic. We'll pick back up a little later. But again, this is Neophyte 19 TV, and I'm signing out. Peace.